Coming up tonight at 10, a local thief steals a huge amount of groceries and gets away with it. We'll have details.
A local hamburger company shares an emotional story. Meet the people behind its success.
Plus, we have a slight risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center for a large part of the northern basin for the rest of this evening. To see some thunderstorms, I'll be sure to break down our chances coming up tonight at 10.
Watch ABC Big 2 News evenings with Chase Menendez and Karsen Buschjost. From Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring, we are Basin Trusted, Basin Proud. This is ABC Big 2 News at 10.
I pay for all my groceries, I pay for my stuff, and when I see people steal, I am not a fan of thieves and stuff at all.
Now at 10, some frustrated shoppers after learning about a grocery store theft in Midland. Police say the man stole more than $900 from a local HEB. Tonight, police are on the hunt for that man.
ABC Big 2's Marco Ramirez joins us live in Midland. Marco, shoppers are pretty upset this happened.
Well, guys, the man who police say stole from this HEB is still at large, and shoppers I spoke to tell me they are stunned that he was able to get away with so much stuff.
It's shocking to know that somebody could get away with that much money in a basket like that.
Police are needing help to find this man. They say he stole nearly $1,000 worth of groceries from this HEB on Loop 250 in Midland earlier this month. Shoppers who frequent this store say they are shocked.
911s is not somebody who's desperate for groceries. That's a lot of money to go out, it ain't somebody just stealing a pack of meat.
Police say the store is able to determine how much money was stolen by tracking what items the suspect collected through their surveillance cameras. Shoppers like Kevin Rhodes think there should be more security to prevent this from happening.
You have somebody checking at the door. I know it's kind of a pain to go through that, but, they can at least say, hey, you got your receipt, just show it and you're on your way.
And seeing someone steal from their grocery store has left many shoppers angry.
It makes me upset because we all work hard for our money, and we try and use it as wisely as we can to get it stretched.
If caught, the suspect faces a misdemeanor charge, but whatever was the reason why this person stole, shoppers have a message for them.
You should be ashamed of yourself. There's a lot better ways. If you're actually desperate for groceries and stuff, there's plenty of stuff in the community to help you out.
Reach out to an agency that can help, whether it be a church or one of the food banks, and tell them what's going on.
Now, I did reach out to management here at this HEB, but they did not want to comment. If you know who the suspect is, call police or Midland Crime Stoppers. Reporting live in Midland, I'm Marco Ramirez, ABC Big 2 News.
Well, thank you, Marco. Higher grocery prices may be contributing to the recent thefts. 2/3
of shoppers say they're paying more for red meat now than before the pandemic. Experts say there's been a rising demand for meat from home cooks as well as from the booming fast food industry. A recent survey says 1 in 3 adults are spending more on groceries now than the beginning of the year. According to that Bloomberg survey, 65% of people are seeing those high prices in meat, 59% in chicken. Fruit also has gone up according to the majority of those surveyed.
And it's not just groceries that are hitting people's wallets. Gas prices are still climbing after the Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. The average price jumped 8 cents in just 2 weeks. And housing prices are going through the roof too. The National Association of Realtors says the average home price jumped 19% from last year. The average home now costs $340,000.
We're your weather authority. We warn you first.
Well, Chase, you've got your eye on some severe weather tonight.
Indeed, yep.
Yeah, it looks like we could have a few days of severe weather this week.
Yeah, actually, we could be dealing with a couple of chances before we even get to the weekend, and then it looks like even more chances through the weekend. Now, here's a look at the strong thunderstorm that we've got tracking into the basin right now. This one was a severe thunderstorm warned storm earlier. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning has expired, but the good news is it looks like it's beginning to diminish in intensity. You can kind of see this thin band of rain out ahead of that storm. We call that an outflow boundary, and it can signify the storm weakening and beginning to collapse. So hopefully that happens, although it looks like Andrews and Odessa are in the path of this storm for the foreseeable future. Now hopefully it will die down as it makes its way off to the east into the basin, but if we do get some rain here in the basin, that would be great news. We'll do our best to keep the hail away. South of I-10, it looks like the energy is diminishing as well, but I'll take a look at those chances for more thunderstorms this week coming up. First, back to you, Erin.
All right, thanks, Chase. Texas lawmakers are one step closer to strengthening the state's electric grid after February's deadly winter storm. But there's only 1 week to go in the legislative session. ABC Big 2's Wes Rappaport looks at the final push to reform the grid.
The plan to reform the electric grid tackles 3 main objectives, according to Marshall Republican Chris Patty.
Oversight and accountability, communication failures, which we saw throughout the system, and weatherization, to ensure that these facilities, both utility and natural gas facilities, are prepared.
Senate Bill 3 would require electricity providers operating in the state's electric grid to weatherize their equipment.
Those would go a long way, Wes, to really making this situation go away. And I don't think the legislature can walk away in this session without fixing this.
The head of the state's largest electric provider, Vistra Corp, tells me the weatherization plan is a must for all parts of the system. He's nervous about the section of the bill that would only force some parts of the natural gas industry to weatherize.
We had a failure of the gas system that also the electric system contributed to as well. So it's very important that those two systems work seamlessly together.
A state panel would decide what's essential to feeding the power generators.
There's some parts that I'm happier with than others.
The president of the Texas Oil and Gas Association supports weatherizing only what's deemed critical to keep the system working, rather than spending money to weatherize everything.
Our goal is to make that product available, make certain that consumers like power generation units that need that product have access to that.
But the electricity provider says the system only works if everyone's on the same page. How that pans out depends on the deal lawmakers strike in the next week.
The legislation is headed back to the Senate. The chamber will either agree on the House changes or iron out the differences.
Well, developing tonight, a tragic house fire in Andrews has left 1 man dead. The fire started just before 3 Sunday morning on Northwest 8th Street. Andrews police say the homeowner, 64-year-old Carlos Tapia, died in the fire. We spoke to the neighbor who called 911.
On the side of the house there's a tree like this, so I guess it caught that. You could hear it popping and stuff like that. It was just growing, like you could see the flames. It was pretty high. He was living there by himself. I mean, sometimes I'd come out here, he'd be standing over there, I'd walk over there, just go talk to him, just to talk to him. I mean, he was a nice guy, you know what I mean?
The fire marshal's office says the cause was accidental. It tells us the fire likely started from around the stovetop.
Breaking news we're following tonight. A pilot is dead after a jet crash in Las Vegas. The military plane crashed into a neighborhood near Las Vegas. ABC's Kana Whitworth has the latest.
Tonight, a terrifying scene in Las Vegas. Thick black smoke billowing into the sky after a plane crashed into a residential neighborhood.
This was an F-1 military aircraft that has crashed.
Authorities at Nellis Air Force Base say the contractor-operated plane took off from the base this afternoon and crashed a short time later near the southern edge of the base.
It sounded like a plane in distress.
I heard the low flying, I heard the shaking, I felt the shaking in the house.
Local police and military officials rushing to the scene, securing the area. Witnesses describing the horror.
My dog was freaking out. He was like running around the house, like going crazy by the windows. And then my dad, he's like, hey, a plane just crashed down the street.
Right between the two houses, he went down where the wires were. And that's where we heard the big boom. And when he hit the ground, the fume went up.
And tonight, officials confirming the pilot was killed.
Now, this investigation has just begun, but I spoke with a woman who lives in the neighborhood, and she said it's very common for planes to be flying at that hour, but this one came in so low that she actually felt like she had to duck inside her own home. And she says when it crashed, her house shook. Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Denver.
This is a developing incident, and federal agencies are still on the scene. Stay with ABC Big 2 as we continue to learn more.
Developing here, a Madalyn man is dead after driving into an oncoming train. The man was on I-20 just 7 miles east of Stanton when he jumped the median and ended up on the tracks. According to DPS, 56-year-old Gary Carr hit a train headed west. DPS says he was not wearing a seatbelt as this crash is still under investigation. With graduations over the weekend, police stayed busy.
Several tickets were written during Project Graduation. Here's a look at some of the busts. The project aims to stop underage drinking and parties where underage drinking is happening. The effort will continue through next weekend. If you know anything about these parties, report it to Odessa Crime Stoppers. You can even submit a tip anonymously through the app.
And coming up, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect issued by the National Weather Service. This one lasting until 11 p.m. Central Time, so another hour or so on that before that lifts. I'll take a look at any thunderstorms heading into the basin coming up after the break.
I don't know about you, but I could go for a cheeseburger right now. A hunger-inducing look inside of one of the basin's long-standing burger joints.
I'm right there with you. Midland High's former head coach has a new spot coming up in sports while he's staying in the Tall City.
And Disney is giving us a look at the newest Marvel flick when you can see it in theaters coming up. As we had to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure you use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News.
And if you haven't done it yet, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are ABC Big 2 News.
Got a tip? Contact ABC Big 2 Investigates on yourbasin.com. And now your ABC Big 2 Local Weather Authority forecast. We warn you first with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
Well, good evening, everybody. We've got some pretty quiet conditions in the basin for now. However, very, very humid conditions. You can kind of see the halos around each one of these lights is a little larger than normal, indicating a lot of moisture in the air, and that's kind of scattering the light beams right now. Very, very good chance to see some rain later on in some parts of the basin. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that we can see some rain here in Odessa, Midland. Either way, Roofs by Nicholas giving us a really good look at those humid conditions out there. And switching over to our weather alerts, we can see we're still under a slight risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center, outlined in yellow for a large part of the basin, including Ector and Midland counties. And then the rest of us here in West Texas are outlined in green. This marginal risk also indicates a chance for some isolated severe, possibly some strong thunderstorms to sprout up. Now, we do have a pretty good storm working its way into the basin right now. You can see it brewing here in southeast New Mexico and then just tracking off to the east. You may also notice some very strong thunderstorms scattered throughout West Texas. Again, that is an indication of that slight risk area that we have. Now, this storm looks like it's beginning to die down. You can kind of see a little bit of rain coming out ahead of that storm. That is what we call an outflow boundary, and it can mean that the storm is beginning to collapse on itself. Hopefully, again, we can see some rain here in Odessa, Midland. That storm is tracking our way, and as it breaks up, hopefully, again, we don't see it picking up any steam, starting to produce any hail or anything like that. I think we're starting to end the energy in the atmosphere. We also have some pretty significant thunderstorm activity right around our viewing area. It looks like those are staying outside of our bounds. Saw a strong storm in McCamey earlier, but now just a little bit of cloud cover left over. No hail or anything like that, but we did catch a brush with that earlier. Again, just a lot of hail around Fort Stockton, or rather a lot of cloud cover around Fort Stockton and no hail, so good news there. South of I-10, it looks like that energy is beginning to dissipate too. Now, as we get to tomorrow, we've got another chance for some more thunderstorms to begin sprouting up in the afternoon time as temperatures pick all the way up to the 90s for the afternoon. So a very warm day coming our way, and that heat can translate to thunderstorm chances. This model showing off those storms dying down by about 11 p.m. and then could see a brush with some very strong weather south of I-10, but I've got to say, I expect this model to just be running a little aggressively. Normally in the overnight hours, we don't see a whole lot of energy, so we'll have to keep our eyes south of I-10, see if we do get any thunderstorms, but we are your local weather authority. We'll keep you posted either way. As we head into the afternoon time, couple of patches of isolated thunderstorms sweeping up throughout the northern basin. Small chance for some of that to make its way into Odessa and Midland. Looks like most of that energy is just going to be around parts of the northern basin. Now, as we do get to tomorrow, though, we have another marginal risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center. This one, once again, includes Ector and Midland counties. So we have a good chance for some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. And with extra heat over what we had today, warmer high temperatures, we could see some of those storms popping up here. However, there's a large area in the country encompassed in that marginal risk. And once again, we take the tail end of that marginal risk. And even still, I'd give us a 60% chance here in Odessa, Midland for some of those thunderstorms. Highs picking all the way up to 94 degrees. So get ready. If you thought it was hot today, it's going to be about 7, 8 8 degrees hotter tomorrow afternoon. We'll cool down a little bit Wednesday, but pick back up again to the 90s Thursday and Friday, triple digits on Saturday, and then cool down to the 90s Sunday and the 80s on Monday. Also notice those rain chances skipping every other day. So tomorrow, it looks like we've got more chances Thursday, and then on Saturday, and then Monday of next week.
Yeah, so if it's not storming, it's just going to be hot. That's all you need to know.
That's exactly. I wish I could have just said that. That's everything you need to know in the forecast.
Your eyes go directly to that 100 degrees.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cloudy too.
It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be hot, kind of like a steam bath. I got to say, get ready, Karsen.
Right.
The summer, I think, is going to be a hot one.
Good for your pores, good for your skin.
There you go.
Good way to look at it.
Yeah, there we go.
Love the optimism.
Thanks, Chase. Well, for more than 40 years, the Permian Basin Hamburger Company has been in downtown Odessa.
Our Monica Quintero joins us live in studio with more. Monica.
Good evening, Erin and Karsen. The story surrounding the Permian Basin Hamburger Company is emotional. Tonight, meet the people behind the popular restaurant's long-lasting success. They've been making burgers for decades.
We opened July 6, 1978.
And not much has changed.
This is the actually original hand-painted menu back when we opened in 1978. I do everything exactly the same. I make everything the same.
Dwayne Cox opened the hamburger restaurant with his wife.
I had always wanted to have a restaurant. I kept talking about it, and finally my wife said, well, I wish you'd do that or quit talking about it.
Everybody loved her. She was outgoing.
Sadly, she died in 2015.
They worked day in, day out with each other for over 30 years. She was just a staple in here that can't be replaced, but we try to keep going. I know she's with us. She's here.
Many of their customers have been coming here for decades.
It's about 1981.
Lyndall Hudson and his wife come at least twice a week.
It's always been the same.
There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Since 1982. They're the best burgers and fries in town.
Nancy Deal and other customers say it's not just the good food that makes this restaurant a success, but more importantly, they say the people.
They're just very friendly. They know their customers.
We've been lucky to have such a very loyal, good, big customer base.
Kind of a hometown place that's just not on every corner.
She said it perfectly. The Permian Basin Hamburger Company is located at 520 North Grand Avenue in Odessa. It's only open for lunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Reporting live in studio, Monica Quintero, ABC Big 2 News.
You can read more about the Basin Hamburger Company on your phone with the Your Basin app.
And now, your Big 2 Sports with Sports Director Ben Peck.
Well, Tim Aniskevich has had a long history in the Tall City. Most of that, of course, has been with the Midland High Bulldogs, a longtime defensive coordinator and head coach from 2017 through this past season. But now he's making the move to TAPS. Midland Christian has hired A to Z as its new offensive line coach. That's a vacancy that just recently popped up for the Mustangs. And Aniskevich has nearly 3 decades of coaching experience, but this season is going to be his first with a program in TAPS. And speaking of coaches, you can't take the Red Raider spirit away from Tim Tadlock. And apparently, you can't take Tim Tadlock away from the Red Raiders. They're not letting you. It's hard to understate just the effect that he's had on the program, so crucial to those 4 trips to the College World Series over the last 6 seasons where they had a chance. And athletic director Kirby Hokut, he announced the school and Tadlock have agreed to a lifetime contract extension. The coach actually first arrived in the South Plains as a player back in 1990. He was the starting shortstop for 2 seasons. He came back in 2012 as an assistant before assuming those head coaching duties the following season. Now, in addition to those 4 trips to Omaha, Tadlock has received a National Coach of the Year award on 2 separate occasions. And we'll finish up with junior college softball. The Odessa Lady Wranglers have secured their spot at the National Championship Tournament by winning their conference tournament. The team has been practicing the past few days at Yuma, Arizona, the site of this year's national tourney. They are going to be taking on Seminole State That's from Oklahoma in Game 1 tomorrow, 6 p.m. Double elimination, but this team, they may not need it. They've played exceptional down the stretch, currently on a 7-game win streak.
It was the greatest decision I've made so far. It really has. Being able to play for him, play with all these girls, it was the best decision I've made so far in my life.
Run into a struggle from time to time, it ultimately doesn't mean much as long as we move forward. And we did such a great job of that all throughout the year. You could see the fight in every single one of these girls from start to finish.
And you saw her there, Hunter Harkrider, former Permian Panther. So also just want to congratulate her. We've been shouting her name out in some highlights. But yeah, good season for Odessa College all around, and we'll see how they do softball.
That's what I was going to say. They've really killed it this postseason.
I know. They've made it to quite a few national tournaments.
Yeah, we've had a lot of postseason success around here lately.
Yeah, we certainly have. Our local athletes have been balling out lately.
Love it.
All right.
And we love it.
Well, thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Here at ABC Big 2, we're celebrating the graduates of 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's a few of the seniors celebrating in the Basin, and remember to send us your graduates so you can see their picture right here on air.
Catch West Tex Wednesdays with Dr. Beck only on Good Morning Basin.
Well, developing tonight, a rise in gun violence across the country.
ABC's Rena Roy has the details.
As the country claws its way out of the pandemic, another deadly epidemic is on the rise. Gun violence growing coast to coast. In New Jersey over the weekend, 2 people killed, 12 injured after gunfire broke out at a house party.
People screaming, hollering, calling the cops. We're calling each other.
In South Carolina, a 14-year-old girl fatally shot and 14 others hurt at an outdoor concert.
It's sad, it's unfortunate.
And near Santa Ana, California on Friday morning, 6-year-old Aiden gunned down in a possible road rage incident. His killer still on the loose.
He was precious. And you killed him for no reason.
In 2020, nearly 4,000 more Americans died by gun violence compared to 2019, a roughly 25% increase. Already this year, the number at least 7,500 so far.
There is a guns problem, and that's something the president would say. There are hundreds, thousands of people who lose their lives, and that's one of the reasons the president will continue to advocate for the Senate passing universal background checks.
120 children age 11 and under have been killed in gun violence, not including suicides so far this year, and 281 wounded. Nearly 500 ages 12 to 17 killed, over 1,100 injured. And when it comes to mass shootings, defined as 4 or more people shot, those violent incidents nearly doubled from 2018 to 2020, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
These shootings are still developing. Head to yourbasin.com for the latest updates. Coming up, it was a big weekend for the weekend. Find out why when we come back. Marvel is giving us a first look at its new group of immortal heroes in its film Eternals. That latest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe will hit theaters in November.
The weekend took home 10 Billboard Music Awards, including Top Artist. The R&B artist also won Top Male Artist, Top Hot 100 Song, and Top R&B Album, among others.
And Amazon is reportedly getting close to clinching a deal to buy MGM Studios. The purchase price is between $8.5 and $9 billion. If it goes through, it would be Amazon's biggest acquisition since it bought Whole Foods 4 years ago.
You can read about tonight's top stories and more right now on yourbasin.com, or download the Your Basin app to check those stories on your phone.
There you go. Stay with us. We'll have another look at that 7-day forecast after this.
Coming up tomorrow on Good Morning Basin, we'll check in with Jane King.
See if the stock market is rebounding after another week of losses.
And temperatures begin warming up again. Wake up with Good Morning Basin live starting at 5.
And welcome back. Here's a last look at the 7-day forecast. Low temperatures at 62 degrees tomorrow morning, so a very warm start to a very warm day. Highs picking up to 94. We also have a 60% chance for thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, as well as a 40% Thursday, 50% Saturday, and another 30% next Monday. So every other day starting tomorrow gives us pretty good rain chances. And some of those storms could be strong to severe, so keep it here to your local weather authority. We'll keep you posted.
All right, well, this is fun. Haagen-Dazs is bringing happy hour to your freezer. The ice cream maker is introducing mojito and pina colada flavored ice creams.
There's the lime mojito sorbet, which is infused with a touch of rum and a generous swirl of sweet mint. The pina colada ice cream combines a creamy coconut and pineapple ice cream and a swirl of pineapple rum sauce.
Are they
wonderful?
Interesting. Well, I guess I'll find out for myself when I go to the store and buy one.
Right, there we
You gotta
go.
be 21 to buy it?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see your ID for that. Yeah.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight.
Good morning, Basin starts at 5 a.m.